If you take the Ben Franklin Bridge across the Delaware River to downtown Philadelphia, you can see Independence Hall and the Liberty Bell. It's the city of brotherly love. The Toronto Blue Jays are in Philadelphia to take on the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays didn't get any brotherly love from the Phillies on Friday night. It'll be game 2 here this afternoon as the Blue Jays take on the Philadelphia Phillies in the final interleague series of the 2010 season. Hello, everybody. I'm Buck Martinez along with Pat Tabler. And Pat, the pitching matchup today is an interesting one. The former World Series MVP, Cole Hamels, goes up against the Blue Jays stopper, Sean Markham.
Should be a lot of fun to watch these two work because they're very similar. They use their fastball, but the key is the changeup, and we'll be watching that this afternoon between Markham and Hamels. Hamels last year was not the guy that we saw the previous year. He didn't have that good fastball, but this year it's back. He had a losing record last year, winning record this year. Good fastball, and he really sets up his breaking ball and changeup by pitching off that number 1.
Well, against Minnesota, he had everything working. He really shut them down. During interleague play this year, he has been very tough on American League ball clubs because of that combination. A very impressive ERA and a 2-0 record.
Yeah, and the opponent's batting average, the innings per start, he really gives Charlie Manuel some innings when he takes the mound. It will be fun to watch Cole Hamels because he's very similar to Sean Markham.
Right, and Sean Markham is truly the ace of this staff. He is the guy that they expect to turn around losing streaks. He is 6-2 after a Jays loss, and that's what he's facing here today.
That's what a stopper does. He stops losing streaks, and Sean Markham this year has got an excellent record. You mentioned it at 6-2 after a Blue Jay loss.
Well, Markham will go up against a very hot Philly lineup. But anytime you talk Philadelphia, you can look at that cleanup spot, and it's the ever-present Ryan Howard, always an MVP candidate.
Yeah, you're right. You can mark him down for 40 home runs, 130 RBIs, year in and year out. But look at the average now for Ryan Howard over his last 7 games. 397. It's been a very good month of June for Ryan Howard in the power department. Also, someone you always have to think about when the game is on the line.
He's always a threat in the heart of that order. The Blue Jays on Friday night were shut out on just 7 hits, and that's been a familiar theme this month. It's been a tough month for them with the bats. And for more on that, let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, Buck, about a month ago, we asked Blue Jays hitting coach Dwayne Murphy if he was concerned at all about low on-base percentage and low average. He said he wasn't because the Blue Jays were producing and winning games. Well, that tap has been turned off, and now you look at the Blue Jays, ranked last in the American League in several offensive categories, but they hope that they can turn it around because 1 year ago to the day, they last faced gave up 8 hits and 4 runs. And here on his way out, he gets tossed by Mark Carlson. Frustration with balls and strikes. The Blue Jays hope to turn it around with a similar result here this afternoon.
Well, Roy Halladay faced his former club here on Friday night for the first time. He spent 12 years in Toronto, and he has quickly become the ace of this Philadelphia staff. He was crisp, he was efficient, and once again, he was a shutdown pitcher. The Philadelphia fans love what they have seen from Roy Halladay. measuring his nose. Got the tape measure, and then he's going to go over and check out Vernon Wells' nose.
Fred Lewis is going to take a look at this one also to make sure the measurement is about right. Yep, that's it right there. And the winner is?
Vernon's got the bigger nose. The Philly Fanatic is awesome. And the players get involved, and they all have a good time. Some good, harmless fun at the old ballpark. Johnny Manuel, the skipper of the Philadelphia Phillies, and he said he's a little bit out of whack because he is the visiting manager here in his home ballpark, and everything has been different for him. But last night, everything worked out just fine for the Phillies. They were 9-0 winners with Roy Halladay going to the mound. They shut out the Blue Jays in the first game of this series. Take a look at the Phillies lineup tonight. Rollins, Victorino, Utley, top of the order. Former Blue Jay Jason Worth, the right fielder. Over his last 13 games, he's been on fire, hitting .415. He's done damage with the long ball and driven in 10. Worth is truly a five-tool player that can do a lot of things to help your ball club win a game. He is also a very interesting free agent at the end of this season, just 31 years old.
Plays great defense, runs the bases. He turned it on about right there for that triple yesterday that got the Phillies off and running in their 9-0 win. Sean Markham's going to try and get the Blue Jays on the win side this afternoon. Gets the ball for the 16th time of the season. 6-3 with a very good .324 earned run average. Picked up a no decision his last outing, even though he gave up just one earned run and 4 hits in 5 innings. Problems were his control. 5 walks. He did have 8 strikeouts in his 102 pitches that he had in that game. He has faced the Phillies a couple of times in his career with a record of 1-0. The scouting report this afternoon for Toronto starter Sean Markham. Many options when he is on the mound. Throws all kind of pitches. Fastball, slider, curve, everything. He's got that swing and miss changeup, though. That's the bread and butter pitch for Sean Markham. And we have watched him a few times this year make great plays in the field. He is an excellent fielder. Really no chance for the Phillies to try and bunt on him because he covers so much ground.
Sean Markham is 5-1 in interleague play, including a 2-0 record this year. He beat the Diamondbacks, and he also beat the San Francisco. He beat San Diego in the last game against the Padres. So he'll be dealing to the leadoff batter, Jimmy Rollins. Rollins in yesterday's game had three walks in the game. It's the first pitch strike from Sean Markham. Ball goes right off John Buck's glove all the way back to the backstop. I mentioned Markham has faced Philadelphia. He's pitched twice before. He had 2 starts against them. Changeup taken down and in. 2 balls and a strike to the leadoff batter, Jimmy Rollins. Rollins playing in just his 16th game this season.
Leg problems a couple of times have landed him on the disabled list. We were talking in the opening about Sean Markham and being the stopper, and I think he really grasps onto that.
Bunted at and foul tip back into the glove of the catcher.
I think he takes being the leader of this pitching staff very seriously, and it shows in his performances.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. I think he really loves being the leader of the staff and setting a high standard for the way they work and the way they pitch. 2-2 to Rollins. Just foul outside of first. This pitching staff has really grown up together quickly in this season. A young 5-man staff. Markham certainly the more experienced of the staff. And I think they all really feed off one another and try to have a good friendly competition that's going to be great for this ball club. On the ground, past the glove of Markham, but Hill's there to retire Jimmy Rollins.
Toronto this afternoon, 3rd in the American League in fielding percentage. This is the lineup they will send out there. Fred Lewis, Vernon Wells, Jose Bautista in the outfield. Same infield that we saw in last night's ball game. John Buck also behind the plate again for the catcher. He will form a battery with Sean Markham. The one play in last night's game, Vernon Wells very sure-handed in the outfield. went into left center field, did not come up with that ball off the bat of Gload. It turned out to be a very big part of the game. He came back to redeem himself, though, made a fine catch against the wall right in the center field at the 401 mark.
Took extra bases away from Jason Worth. Shane Victorino moves into the 2 spot here this afternoon. Victorino hit down in the order, number 7 in last night's game. That's the value of having switch hitters in your lineup. Rollins and Victorino top of the order. You can really move them around in the lineup.
You can do so many different things with them also because they're good athletes. They run well. They've got some pop. Victorino with a home run in last night's game. He's not a very big guy, but that home run last night went 384 feet to left center field.
2 balls and a strike. Victorino showing bunt, popped up in the air, foul down the third baseline. They must not have the report that Markham's a good fielder.
We were just talking about that. What a great fielder he is. He gets off the mound, gets himself in a good position. He made that bunt play back in Toronto earlier this year where he went to the third base line and fielded the ball, threw across his body, made it out. You won't find a finer play than that.
I truly believe he should be considered for a Gold Glove. 2-2 to Victorino. Changeup, swing and a miss. First strikeout of the afternoon for Sean Markham.
That's a floating changeup. Watch that. It almost stops. Victorino double clutches and still is way out in front of that changeup. Good arm action on that one. That's a good sign for Sean Markham this afternoon.
2 quick outs by Markham. Now he'll face Chase Utley. Fine second baseman of the Phillies. 1 for 5 in the game last night, but it was a 2-run single as part of that 6-run 5th inning. First pitch strike. I love the fact that Markham pitches around 87, 88, never really asks himself for more than that, and just pitches off that fastball.
He can cut it. He can sink it. He does have a good curveball, I think. Doesn't have to use it as much. There it is right there. But it's that changeup that makes that 87, 88 mile an hour fastball look like it's about 94 or 95.
And the Blue Jays starters have a reputation of having great changeups, and that makes that fastball seem to be a little bit quicker. A ball and a strike to Utley. Hammered into right field, and that'll get down in front of Bautista. A 2-out base hit for Utley. You mentioned these Phillies starting to heat up, and Utley's right in the middle of that. So Ryan Howard will step to the plate. The big cleanup matter, DHing for a second consecutive day here, and his numbers are starting to get close to what we're used to. 292, 14 and 54 for the big left-hander. Two outs here in the top of the first. Off the plate inside.
Blue Jays have a very interesting way to defense Ryan Howard. You see at the shortstop position, that's Alex Gonzalez, the shortstop. They want the stronger arm on the left side of the infield. Right around second base, that's Jarrett Hoffbauer, the third baseman. So we'll watch him all afternoon jog back and forth between third and that spot where they shift. Now, one thing you have to remember, if Chase Utley tries to steal, the guy covering second base is going to be Alex Gonzalez, leaving third base wide open. The Blue Jays are going to use their pitcher to cover third base just in case someone tries to steal with Ryan Howard at the plate.
That happened to the Phillies in the World Series when Johnny Damon stole second and went to third. 2 balls and no strikes. Changeup. Howard's way out in front.
It happened the other day against the Cleveland Indians in this very same situation. 2 outs, Chase Utley on first base, Ryan Howard at the plate. He stole second base, but the Indians were ready for it. They had the catcher running down to third base to cover that bag. Utley can run.
2 balls and a strike. Off the plate, 3-1. This is where this balance of the Phillies lineup is very dangerous. You got lefty and Utley and Howard, and then you got the right-handed hitting Jason Worth.
Tucked right in between two left-handed RBI men, and Ibanez and Howard.
3-1. Another good changeup. Howard's been on a tear here at home. Over his last 23 games at home, he's hit .363. That's a big number.
The big numbers are usually in the home runs and the RBIs. He's about a .260 hitter. Taking what the pitchers have been giving him.
Utley will be on the move on the payoff pitch. 2 outs. There goes Utley in the dirt. And you can see John Buck had his eye on third base. Gonzalez as well, as Utley was on the move. Now the defense will go back to normal with Jason Worth, the right-hander, hitting with 2 outs and 2 on. Worth got things started for the Phillies in last night's game. He had a triple to the gap in right center, right up the top of the wall in right center. Came around and scored the first run in the second, and then had a single and walked. Had a couple of walks in the game. He was officially 2 for 3. Curveball misses. Another thing you see with this Philly lineup, we saw it all night last night, was the patience. The veteran hitters now are right where they think they should be, and they're taking those borderline pitches.
And getting themselves in the good hitters count. We really saw it the second and third times through the lineup against Jesse Litch yesterday. They started laying off that changeup, making him hit it into the strike zone.
Fastball top of the zone for a strike. You can see Worth is patiently taking pitches just to get a read on Markham early in this game.
That's why we both think that Sean Markham's fastball is going to be very important this afternoon. He's going to have to throw it. He's going to have to throw quality strikes and get that in the mind of those hitters so he can get them out with his off-speed stuff.
A ball on a strike. Changeup, very effective, good spot. A ball and 2 strikes. Different story when the pitchers are ahead of Jason Worth. A ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the first. Bounced off the dugout screen. Just another reminder, you see the uniforms of the Jays. That's their home uniform, and the Phillies are wearing their road grays, even though we're at Citizens Bank Park. The Blue Jays are the home team throughout this series, because this series was moved because of the G20's meetings in Toronto. They're fouled back. Worth has good plate coverage as well. He fouled that pitch on the inside corner, and he stays pretty effectively out over the plate as well.
He's got good leverage. He's got long arms. He can reach that outer half. And the most important thing when you watch Jason Worth is he's got a good knowledge of the strike zone. You don't see him chase balls off the plate.
1-2. Another foul back, up and away, got to it.
He was able to reach it with those long arms and long back. Still quick enough, though, on the inner half. If you try and slip a ball by him.
Markham had a similar inning in his last start against the Giants. He struck out 3, but had a base hit and a walk. Threw a lot of pitches in that first inning, was able to get out of the inning without giving up a run. Got it. Good changeup. Sean Markham does it again. Strands a couple of base runners here in the first. Gives up a single and a walk, but then racks up the second strikeout of the inning on a great changeup. Cedar Gaston Blue Jays, the final 2 games of interleague play will take place here in Philadelphia. Let's take a look at his lineup here this afternoon. It's been a tough month of June for most of these hitters. Vernon Wells, over his last 4 games, starting to swing the bat more effectively. He had a 2-home run game against the Cardinals. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. He scored 3 runs over his last 4 games. Lineup has been different. This is the lineup Cedar Gaston thinks might get the offense turned around a bit.
3rd game now that we have seen this. That's the lineup that Hamels will face, who's starting to pitch like the Hamels we saw a few years ago. Getting into a nice groove, hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs in any of his last 9 games. He's faced the Blue Jays twice in his career.
2 balls and no strikes to the leadoff batter, Fred Lewis. Lewis was 1 for 4 last night. Three balls and no strikes to start the game. Blue Jays just never got anything going against Roy Halladay in last night's game. Halladay was staked to a 1-0 lead after 2. There's a strike on the corner. Cole Hamels is 26 years old. He was a former #1 pick back in 2002 by the Phillies. Whipped into the seats. Three balls and 2 strikes. Leadoff walk to Lewis.
Leadoff walk by Cole Hamels. Let's take a look at the scouting report for the young lefty. 3 strong pitches that he has. He's got a good fastball. He can reach it in the 90-94 mile per hour range. Good overhand curve and a change it. He'll cut it also, the fastball, something he has been doing the last couple of years, cutting that fastball in on the right-handers. And for me, he's a Barry Zito clone. Right over the top, good fastball, good curveball, and an excellent changeup. And we all know what Barry Zito did to the Blue Jays when they faced him last week.
Hamels had been pretty much a fastball changeup pitcher, and then he's added the curveball and kind of cut the fastball a little bit more inside now. I think he's got a little better velocity this year than we've seen from the last couple of years. Alex Gonzalez, the 2-hitter, takes a pitch up and away.
Now that's the most important thing. If you're going to have good off-speed stuff, secondary pitches, you have to be able to pitch off of the fastball. You can't throw it for a strike, or you don't have your normal 93, 94 mile per hour. Tough to get guys out.
Well, there's no reason to swing at the changeup if you don't throw enough strikes with your fastball.
Same type of thing we were talking about in the top of the inning when Sean Markham was out there. He's got to use his fastball to set up that changeup and the other off-speed pitches.
2-0. There's a strike. 2 balls and a strike to Alex Gonzalez. Blue Jays batting bottom of the first inning. Oh for 6 against the Philly left-handed. Lewis with 5 steals this season. Three balls and a strike. Hamels battling his control here in the first inning.
Something that hasn't been a problem for him over his last few starts. The month of June has been a very good month for him, ERA wise, control wise, and innings wise. Walks have not been a problem. He's only walked 8 batters this whole month.
3-1 count. Back-to-back walks to start the game against Hamels. Check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, Buck, you can hear the background music being played. Another thing the Phillies have done to make the Blue Jays feel at home is use the same at-bat music as when the players come to bat. As well, in between innings, Blue Jays promotional videos being shown on the Jumbotron here. So not a whole lot of Phillies fans paying attention to it, but the Blue Jays still trying to get that home field here at Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, the thing that really makes the Blue Jays feel comfortable here would be hitting a couple home runs.
Yeah. That's what they do a lot of at Rogers Center. Get a lot of home runs.
Rich Stubbe, the pitching coach, out to have a conference with Cole Hamels. Brian Schneider is doing the catching with Carlos Ruiz on the disabled list. So the entire infield in on the conversation. Jimmy Rollins, the leader of this ball club. A last minute word for Hamels before he returns to shortstop. He truly is the backbone of this team, the guy that makes them go offensively and certainly tightens together this inner defense. Jose Bautista chases that first pitch changeup, and nobody's going to throw Jose a first pitch fastball anymore.
Don't even look for it. He was probably looking for one of those get me over fastballs after walking the first 2 batters. Hamels crossed him up.
No balls and a strike. Inside corner, 0-2. One thing that Hamels is concerned about is the home run. He's given up 15 home runs this year. Oh, 2. Line down the right side, but foul. We're in the first inning. Phillies stranded 2 base runners top half of the inning. Blue Jays are threatening against Cole Hamels here in the bottom half. Popped up. Ross Glode, the first baseman, umpire signaling infield fly. It's a foul ball, and Bautista's retired.
Defensively for the Phillies this afternoon, this is a very good fielding team, the Phillies. Ibanez, Victorino, Jason Worth in the outfield. You mentioned Jimmy Rollins, who is excellent up the middle, along with Chase Utley. Ross Glode again at first base. And Juan Castro will get just his 4th start at third base. Placido Polanco with the day off. Juan Castro, who can play all over the infield, gets the start this afternoon.
Vernon Wells with 1 out will face Hamels. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it into the seats. Well, there's one thing you know about Vernon Wells. He's going to swing at the first pitch.
He's going to be very aggressive. We have watched pitchers, especially yesterday, Roy Halladay, work him away, trying to get Vernon Wells to reach for that ball.
Popped up into right field. Jason Worth Moves under it, makes the grab. Runners will hold their ground. Hamels makes good pitch with the fastball. Gets Wells to pop up to right.
Fastball that was up. I think Vernon Wells does a good job with the fastball down and away. But it's the one that's up that he hasn't been able to get on top of and drive.
So with 2 on and 2 outs, it'll be Adam Lind. Lind, the DH, again, has had a terrible time against left-handed pitching, batting just .115 this year. Takes the first pitch, strike from Hamels.
Blue Jays have really had their troubles this year with left-handed pitching, which is surprising with all the right-handed pop that they have in their lineup.
Foul back to the screen, 0-2.
They have players that have had great careers against left-handed pitching, but this year just 201. And there have been some guys in the middle of the lineup who have struggled with the average and the production.
In kind of a team June swoon. Breaking ball, 3-pitch strikeout for Cole Hamels, and he, like Markham, strands 2 base runners in the first. Adam Lind continues to struggle against lefties. Big curveball gets him. We are scoreless after 1.
Your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Back here in Philadelphia, Sean Markham and Cole Hamels, the starting pitchers here today. They both pitched around some early inning problems. Sean Markham, over his last 11 starts, has truly pitched like an ace.
Yeah, he certainly has a great record, earned run average, everything about that. We were mentioning it last inning about he relishes being the leader of this pitching staff and being an ace, and learned a lot from the way Roy Halladay ran the show when he was over here.
Raul Ibanez swings it to pitch, grounds it behind second. There's Gonzalez, and he throws Ibanez out first out of the second. Boy, Gonzalez has an awful lot of range. He's not what you would call a fast guy, but boy, does he have a quick first step.
Very quick. Positioning is so important. That's one of the defenses that the Blue Jays call it, like right on that grass, the cutout of the grass of the mound. You want to be looking right over that right edge. See where he is playing there. If you draw a strike line right where Gonzalez is to home plate, he's over the edge.
Long drive left field off the bat of Ross Claude, but that's going to hang up for Fred Lewis, and he did a little dance to get under it, but there to make the catch, 2 outs here in the second.
Positioning is so important, especially when you have a team like the Blue Jays pitching staff that throws a lot of strikes, A lot of balls are put in play. Your inner defense is so important.
How important is it for a guy like Sean Markham, who has control, that your positioning is exact?
It's so important because you go over the scouting reports and you talk about weaknesses and how you're going to pitch certain guys. And then you're going to position those guys based on where you're going to throw the pitch. If you throw the pitch there and the defense isn't there, you're out of luck.
And in the same fashion, if you miss your spots, then the defense is out of position. Brian Snyder, the catcher, takes a strike to even the count at 1-1. Snyder, the veteran, was brought in to serve as the backup for Carlos Ruiz. Rips it to first base, but there's Lyle Overbay with the backhanded grab. A very quick inning for Sean Markham. 1, 2, 3 in the second. Blue Jays will bat. Scoreless here.
When the Phillies won the World Series, they leaned on Cole Hamels heavily. He started game one in each of the 3 series, ended up with a 4-0 record, a 1.80 ERA, and struck out 30 in 35 innings pitched. In the World Series, he won game 1, came back to start game 5, but did not get the decision, earning MVP honors, as you see there.
Cole Hamels was the MVP in the World Series. He was the MVP of the NLCS. And everything broke right for Philadelphia during the 2008 postseason. Hamels was slated to start the final game of the 2008 regular season. But because of the Mets' loss, they didn't need Hamels to start. So he was able to start the first game of each of the 3 postseason series and won each 3 of those games.
Could have been different if he had to pitch on that Sunday to get them into the playoffs. Who knows what would have happened, but a fresh Cole Hamels just went right through the playoffs.
Aaron Hill leads off the bottom of the second inning, takes a first pitch strike from Hamels. Hill had a double against Roy Halladay in last night's game. Ended up 1 for 4. Other strike poured in there by Hamels. Fisted into shallow right field. Utley says he's got room and makes the catch. Cole Hamels had been dominant through the postseason of 2008, and then things kind of turned around for him.
An extra month of pitching tight ball games where every pitch is very important. And then you go on the circuit, the chicken circuit in the offseason. You go to Letterman, you do all those appearances, and we haven't seen the Cole Hamels that we saw in 2008. Last year he had a losing record for the only time in his career. And just now this season it seems to be turning back around for Cole Hamels. His fastball's got a little bit more pop on it. His breaking ball and changeup are back to where they were in 2008.
Lyle Overbay had a good rip of the first pitch fastball, but found it back. Overbay hitting .233, but for the first time all season long, he feels now that he can hit just about any pitch because he has quieted his body down and he's got good coverage to both sides of the plate. Takes a pitch down and away.
He's not as open as he was at the beginning of the season. His lower half, you can see he hits out of an open stance to give him a really good look at the pitches, and he'll close it up. It's a timing mechanism that he has used for years and years. With all those moving parts, sometimes it takes a while to get that feel back, but he has been on a tear.
He's behind Cole Hamels, a ball and 2 strikes here. Curveball missed downstairs. 2-2. Well, Overbay really has been upbeat about the entire season. He has never taken his hitting woes to the field with him. He's played great defensively all year long. Fights off that inside pitch and fouls it off the warning track. You know, you talk about hitting and how much of it is confidence, and you can see now some of the hitters starting to gain a little confidence, and I can certainly see that with Overbay.
Yeah, got off to a really rough start this year. Timing wasn't right. He said he just didn't feel right. Got a couple of hits last night.
Chopped toward third. Juan Castro is going to be a tough play. Not in time. Overbay with an infield hit. He's aboard with 1 out.
And when you are going right, swings like this come up golden. 2 strikes, you just chunk at the third baseman, who has to play deep with 2 strikes, and Overbay beats it out for an infield single.
Hitters say they never keep track of the line drives that are caught, but they remember those little bleeders.
And they all seem to even out, don't they, over the course of a season?
Well, that's what they say. I don't know if it's true or not.
I think it is. I mean, when you watch, guys won't tell you that. They'll say, no, I've hit way more line drives than bleeders and chinkers and Texas leaguers.
John Buck, the catcher, makes the first pitch inside on the corner. John Buck has hit .368 against left-handed pitching this year. Good rip of the fastball. Boy, so much about timing, so much about who you're facing, when you're feeling good. To get a left-hander over his last 12 games, his numbers have been real good. But now he faces a left-hander. He's hit them well all year long, but Hamels is really sharp.
You know, he's sharp, but it doesn't really matter if you're swinging well. That graphic shows that he is swinging well against left-hander. Comes up with a good game today, then gets another lefty tomorrow. We'll be interested to see if he's in the lineup tomorrow's game. There are his splits, lefties versus righties. More power against the righties, higher average.
Long drive to left field. John Buck has just hit a 2-run homer. He likes the lefties.
Higher average versus the left-hander, but more power from the righty, but take that and put it away. 13th home run of the year for John Buck. And it looked like he was fooled a little bit by that off-speed pitch from Cole Hamels, but he kept his weight back, he kept his hands back. And when he recognizes it, that's how you hit a changeup. Pull it into the stands for a home run, and he's so strong. Muscles that ball into the bleachers for the home run.
13th for Buck, 16th allowed by Cole Hamels. Blue Jays are on top 2-0. Jared Hoffbauer, the third baseman. 1 out here in the second. Foul back, a bloop and a blast. 2 runs, nothing to it.
I was thinking the exact same thing. We would sit on the bench and go, hey, you know, when you get the inning started, hey, let's get a bloop and a blast. And that's exactly what happened with the Jays.
Swing and bunt up the third baseline by Overbay, and then a long home run to left. Jared Hoffbauer behind Cole Hamels, a ball and 2 strikes. Lined into center field. Victorino can't make a play. He'll play it on the hop. Hoffbauer has a base hit. 3 hits in a row now. Single, home run, single.
They were shading Hoffbauer to right center field. They didn't think he was able to get on top of a good fastball, but he did. Ripped it in the gap for a hit. Charlie Manuel's got to be thinking about his left-hander getting that ball down.
Now, Charlie Manuel understands how well the Blue Jays swing the bats. 1 out for Fred Lewis. Chases a breaking ball in the dirt. Lewis still hitting .288 since he's joined the Blue Jays. Came over from San Francisco on the 15th of April. Another breaking ball he lays off. A ball on the strike. Lewis has held his own against the left-handers, hitting .286. He's hit .289 against right-handed pitching, .286 against the lefties. Boy, isn't it amazing how the league has pounded Lewis inside? When he first came over, that wasn't the case, but it looked like the Yankees were the first team to start doing that.
A.J. Burnett in particular. We noticed it right away. Burnett, every pitch was right on the inner half, right at his hands.
That ball is ripped into left field. A base hit for Fred Lewis.
If you're going to throw him in, you've got to throw it up and in, because down and in, he can handle that. We've seen him handle that. This time, Cole Hamels goes away, and he handles that one easily. Fred Lewis on anything away. Catcher sets up on the outer half, head down, good short swing the other way. He can handle that one.
4 consecutive base hits now, including a 2-run home run. Alex Gonzalez walked in his first at bat. First and second, 1 out. Changeup cut on and missed. Fastball in there, 0-2. Pops up the inside fastball out of play. Blue Jays have scored 2 runs here in this inning on the 13th home run of the season by John Buck. Look at his 2-strike off-speed pitch to the seats in left field. He staked his pitcher Sean Markham to a 2-0 lead. Check swing tapper into the dugout.
Use that changeup a little bit more. Phillies have been swinging the bats. We've talked about that the last couple of days. So those runners out there on Hamels struggling with his control right now. You've got to take advantage of it. Don't leave any of those guys out there.
High fastball. Hamels gets Gonzalez. Went upstairs and Gonzalez chased. Second strikeout for the Philly left-hander.
Just reaches back and cuts that fastball in on his hands.
Jose Bautista now with 2 outs and 2 on. Still the first pitch fastball, but up and away. Dwayne Murphy has talked to Bautista about his needing to hit breaking balls and off-speed pitches. You've got to think he's looking for an off-speed pitch here. Fastball down. 2-0.
Well, he did this last time up. Got ahead of him, then threw him an off-speed pitch. He ended up popping it up. He's been very productive this year with runners in scoring position.
There's the off-speed pitch in the dirt. Bautista hit a 3-0 home run against Jamie Garcia in the recent Cardinals series. You can bet he'll get the green light here as well.
Yeah, the way the ball flies out of this ballpark, who you're playing, where you're playing, who you're facing. And if Hamels was watching the video, he knows the same thing.
There's the green light. He just missed it.
He had a good pitch to hit. A little bit long. You see him shaking his head a little bit. He was a little bit long on his swing.
Where's Hamels go now?
I think he has to challenge him.
3 balls and a strike. 2 outs here in the second. Challenged him. Got the fastball. Popped it out of play. So it'll be a full count from Cole Hamels. The runners will be off and running on the pitch. Hoffpauir singled. He stands at second. Fred Lewis singled to left. He's at first. 3-2. Off-speed pitch. Did he go? Yes, said the umpire. Paul Schreiber rings up Jose Bautista. Let the Blue Jays break through against Cole Hamels. The changeup, just what Buck ordered. His 13th home run, a 2-run shot. Blue Jays lead 2-0.
Well, if you're not a member, you can join now. It's the Blue Jays Fan Club. Membership includes autograph sessions, batting practice visits, a fan club road trip, and a whole lot more. Purchase your fan club membership for $20. Visit bluejays.com/fan club or call 416-341-1455.
Lots of Blue Jays fans here in Philadelphia to enjoy this Blue Jays series. Juan Castro, the third baseman, takes the first pitch strike from Martin. Castro, now 38 years old. He's played 14 years in the big leagues. Signed in the offseason as a free agent. Lays off the breaking ball. Phillies, who are anxious to add to their depth, bringing in Castro, Snyder, Polanco. The changeup had Castro way out in front.
You see some funky hacks, don't you, when Sean Markin was throwing his good changeup? Batter's way out in front, especially guys who haven't faced him, and there's been a lot of Phillies who have not.
That cut fastball, changeup that moves away. He cuts his changeup and it'll run down and away to the right-handed hitters. A 2-2 count to the leadoff batter here in the third. Another changeup, fair ball down to third. Hoffbauer, quick throw to first base in time to get Castro. Good play by Jared Hoffbauer.
Well, you've seen him make some good plays on the carpet at Rogers Center. Now here on grass, he's doing the same thing. Quick feet, quick first step. Got to throw that ball on the run, or you're not going to be able to make it. He makes it look easy. First out.
So the Phillies will turn their lineup over. Now Jimmy Rollins will bat for a second time. Breaking ball missed. Off the plate outside. Three 3-0 to Rollins. All of a sudden, Markin can't find the strike zone. Markham's issued one walk. That came with 2 outs to Ryan Howard back in the first. Fastball for a strike. Ground ball, base hit up the middle.
Reliability, resale value, and race-proven innovation. Get it all plus 0.9% financing and a $500 gas card on new Civics. Join the Honda Checkered Flag event.
Beautiful day here at Citizens Bank Park. The Blue Jays out in front of the Phillies 2-0 as the Phillies bat here in the top of the third inning. Jimmy Rollins with a 1-out base hit. Shane Victorino struck out in his first at bat. Rollins bluffed as if he were going to run.
And this is why the Phillies are so tough. They can score runs in so many different ways. Home runs, they can put together good innings, but they've got good team speed. They have led the major leagues in stolen base percentages the last couple of years. They're at it again this year. They've got great percentage at 85%.
Rollins bluffs again. Little looper lifted into right field. Bautista's there for the out. 2 outs. You talk about stolen base percentage. You don't have to look any further than the first base coaching box. That's Davey Lopes, who does such a great job at setting up these guys.
Yeah, he certainly does. They work long and hard. Lopes was a great base stealer in his career with the Dodgers and the A's. Good technician.
He's always got that stopwatch in his right hand to check the timing of the pitcher. Just how quick he is to the plate. He gets to a certain point where 1-3, 1-4 on that release point, he'll send his runners. 2 outs now for Chase Utley. Markham's excellent at diffusing the running game.
Quick to home. He's got a very good move to first base. That all starts with very quick feet. And he has a very good idea of when runners are going to try and steal on him.
Rollins bluffs again, but just kind of half-hearted. Couple of quick steps towards second with no intent.
He just looked over to Davey Lopes and asked him, what's the number?
A ball and no strikes, 2 outs here. Top of the third inning. With fastball on the outside corner.
You know, another way that you can help your steal percentage is what type of pitch are we stealing against? Do we have a pattern on the pitcher in a 1-0 count or an 0-1 count? Does he throw a changeup? You're obviously better having a chance to steal off of the changeup as opposed to the fastball. So another thing that you're going to have to take notes on. When does Markham use his fastball?
A ball and a strike to Chase Utley. Markham steps off. Obviously, the dangerous part of Rollins being at first is he becomes a distraction and you lose your focus on Utley.
And Utley has the ability to score that runner from first base with popping that bat.
There goes Rollins. Base hit right field. Jimmy Rollins around second. He's headed to third. Ball goes into second base. Chase Utley, his second hit of the afternoon. First and third, 2 outs.
Before today, Utley was 1 for 4. That one hit, a home run against Sean Markham. He waits back on that off-speed pitches and pulls it into right field into the hole. Rollins has had problems with his calf, but no problem here. Straight steal. He knows where that ball is, and he makes it to third base easily.
Rollins, you saw him look to see where the ball was in right field. That gave him an idea he'd be stopping at third. Sam Perlazo, the third base coach. So Utley has set up Ryan Howard against Markham here. 2 outs. Third inning. First pitch changeup is tapped foul.
Last time Ryan Howard was at the plate, we talked about the giant shift. Well, it's not as exaggerated now, but Jared Hoffpauir way off at third base. Jimmy Rollins is about halfway down the line when the ball is released by Sean Markham, and there's really nothing the Blue Jays can do about it.
You have to guard against that steal at second. You have to play your defense a little more traditional. 0-1. Popped him up, out of play.
He's trying. Sorry, Buck. He's trying to get Markham's attention put on him at third base. He keeps looking at him, and Sean keeps looking at him with that long lead over there. Maybe you talked about it when Utley was up, distracting the pitcher a little bit.
Now, you don't need to do anything other than focus on Ryan Howard because he's the guy that can do all the damage here. No balls and 2 strikes. Upstairs, he lays off. Could see John Buck emphasizing he wanted that ball up. There aren't many places you can exploit Ryan Howard, but one of them might be a high fastball. He's very dangerous down, out over the plate, and certainly, as Reed mentioned, doesn't have to pull the ball to hit it out of the ballpark.
He can go center field, left field. He hits a ball like a right-handed pool hitter sometimes to left field.
Change up, he checked his swing. 2 balls and 2 strikes. This Philly lineup will make you work.
Every pitch becomes big. And that's one thing that Bruce Walton said to me this week about Sean Markham. The longer the inning, it seems to take away from him later in the ballgame.
A 2-2 pitch to Ryan Howard. The tapper out in front of home. Markham will make an easy play of it, and he once again gets out of a big jam. He gets Ryan Howard to tap back to the mound. Middle of the third, Blue Jays are up 2-0.
very much, but I found the next comments very interesting.
You really can't have feelings while you're out there. You know, you almost got to think of yourself as a robot. You go out and try and execute pitches. You know, I've heard Jack Morris say he felt like when he went out there, he was just a pitching machine. You know, he just hit the glove, and you know, that's usually the best way to go about it. You have to separate yourself from those emotions.
And Halladay today put all those emotions aside yesterday, but he paid a visit to the Toronto Blue Jays clubhouse today, where he was awarded a 15-year ring and a pendant from the Toronto Blue Jays organization for 15 years worth of service. Now the book has been closed on that story.
A good story, certainly. And Roy Halladay came out the batting cage and saw a lot of his pals around the cage when the Blue Jays were hitting. But you know what? When you talk about great players, I don't care if it's pitchers or hitters, that's the reaction. His quotes about being a machine out there, that's the way the great ones are. They go to the mound with no emotion and just pitch their game.
Yeah, what did he say after the game? No smiles, and I didn't want to make any eye contact.
Got a job to do.
Yeah.
Hal McRae used to tell us in Kansas City, I got no friends on the other team.
They're trying to get hits off of you.
Vernon Wells. There's the count in his favor, 2 balls and no strikes as he leads things off here in the third. Oh, a high changeup. Wells wasn't sure about that one. Not sure that's where Hamels wanted to throw it either.
No, you don't want to throw that changeup up there. We all know that Wells can handle that.
Off the plate inside. Three and one pitch to Vernon Wells. Swing and a pop-up along the right side. Ross Gload into foul ground, and he's there to make the catch. One up. Cole Hamels, we mentioned his home runs, and certainly pitching in this ballpark here, prone to giving up home runs. He has now allowed 16 home runs this season.
You know what's strange about that? 12 of them have come after he's gotten ahead 0-1. That's what's strange when you talk about a pitcher with the caliber of Cole Hamels. When you get ahead 0-1, you got to put him away.
Adam Lynn takes the first pitch strike. Breaking ball on the ground to Utley. Just on the edge of the grass. He retires. Lynn 2 up, 2 down here in the third. Hamels had a little bit of a hiccup in the second. He retired the first batter he faced, and then Overbay had a swinging bunt. John Buck hit a 2-run homer. And Hoffpauir and Lewis would follow with base hits, but then Gonzalez and Bautista struck out. Aaron Hill takes a pitch outside. Just off the plate. Pop back out of play. That's the one problem we have seen consistently with Aaron Hill. He gets the ball and the count in his favor, and he gets a pretty good pitch. What is it that you see that's causing him to be late on those hitter counts?
Yeah, he's late. He's late. I don't know if it's the extra hitch or what it is, but you're right. They're good pitches to swing at. That one was a little bit high out of the strike zone. He starts with his hands really high and he drops them. It almost looks like he's got a 2-start to his swing. He starts, stops, then has to start again, and maybe that's why he is fouling those balls off to the right.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Off the plate inside, it'll be a full count. Well, you certainly can't question his work ethic. He's trying to find something that'll help get him turned around, working every day to solve the puzzle.
Talked a lot last year about he has those high hands, but he hits from up there, and he feels like he's coming down through the ball.
Little looper down the left field line. That just hooked foul. You know what? When you're going good, that hits the chalk line.
Chalk, and that's extra bases. He had a good at bat yesterday against Halliday, where it looked like he was starting to come out of it, stay back on a breaking ball, ripped it into the corner. Almost a carbon copy of that ball that we just saw him hit. But again, last year he was talking about his hands being up and then helping him to drive through the ball. Starts up there. What you don't want to do is then drop him and bring him back up.
There'll be another full count pitch from Hamels. 2 outs here in the third. Swing and a drive. Left field. Aaron Hill has just knocked it out of the ballpark. Aaron Hill has connected his 11th home run of the season, second allowed by Hamels here this afternoon. The Blue Jays are on top 3-0.
Happy now that that ball was fouled down the left field line, because it gave him another pitch to hit, and this one was sweet right there. Looked like another changeup right in the wheelhouse of Aaron Hill, and he didn't miss it. High changeup. Home run number 17 given up by Hamels this year. That's his 13th solo home run. And that has got to feel good for Aaron Hill.
While Overbay takes the breaking ball down and away. Overbay had that little swinging bunt, but what a good feeling for him. Talking there about his approach and what he was trying to do. Results are good for Hill in that at bat.
Got some good hand movement. We were just talking about that. Keep him up. He can drive through that ball.
Overbay takes a pitch down and away. 2 balls and a strike. Blue Jays have used the long ball here this afternoon. 2 home runs, a 2-run shot, and Aaron Hill's solo home run. Three balls and a strike. 2 home runs against the left-hander today. There's a 2-out walk. So Overbay's aboard for John Buck. This scenario played out back into second. Rich Doobie doing some paperwork, making notes to himself. The pitching coach. The home run has been a problem for Hamels all year long. John Buck brings it to first pitch, pops it straight back out of play. Hamels is now tied for second in the National League in home runs allowed. He's tied with Kennedy and Ricky Nolasco. Dan Herron has given up 19 home runs. That leads the National League.
Some heavyweights on that list there. Dan Herron, 19 home runs. Hamels had a game earlier against that team, the Arizona team, where he gave up 4 in one game.
Foul ball. They threw that ball behind him, and Buck kept the barrel of the bat exposed, and it hits the bat.
Ball coming up in the end. You got to drop the bat. He did, and it was a little bit too late. Strike 2.
0-2, 2 outs. Down in the dirt. Tito Gaston always very observant about when he might think a pitcher throws at one of his hitters. That was very curious where that ball was.
Well, everything has been down and away. We both looked at each other after that ball was fouled off like,
Well, John Buck did hit a changeup last time up. Pretty good one. It's 3-0 Blue Jays. Buck with his 2-run home run, his 13th of the season. Big swing at another ball. This one's popped up into left field. Ibanez moves into the alley, makes the catch. So Hamels gets out of the inning, but Aaron Hill goes deep. Hamels, 2 home runs allowed today. The Phillies are down 3-0. We've played 3 in Philadelphia.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Beautiful Philadelphia, where the Blue Jays will wrap up this year's interleague play. Join us on Rogers Sportsnet tomorrow. The Blue Jays take on the Phillies. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. It will be Jamie Moyer, the ageless Jamie Moyer, against left-hander Brett Cecil. That'll do it for interleague play, and Blue Jays will move from Philadelphia to Cleveland to continue this road trip. Jason Worth, strikeout victim his first time up, looks at an outside fastball. Worth was an original Baltimore Oriole, drafted #1 by the Orioles. Interesting link there that Pat Gillick was the GM of the Orioles at the time. Worth was the 22nd pick overall in the draft.
He was a catcher, wasn't he?
A very tall catcher at 6'5". But he then moved from Baltimore to Toronto. He was traded to the Blue Jays for a left-handed pitcher named John Bale. That came in 2000. I had Jason Worth in camp as a young catcher, a minor league invitee in spring training. You could see the athleticism. And later on, he was moved to the outfield, and certainly his career has taken off. His 8th season, 106 home runs, and most of his numbers are back-weighted. I mean, it's just been the last couple of years that he's really started to blossom.
Did you see him being this type of player when he was a young player?
Very athletic. Can do a lot of things. He can run, he can throw, he can hit. Certainly he comes from an athletic family. His grandfather is Dick Schofield, who played in the major leagues as a middle infielder, and his uncle, Dick Schofield Jr., who played some time with the Blue Jays.
Played with his father, Dennis Worth, in the Yankee organization way back when.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Another foul ball. But he is just 31 years old. And he's going to be a free agent at the end of this season. Certainly going to be a prominent free agent in my mind. An athletic outfielder that can steal bases, hit home runs, and hit for a good average. Strike three called. Worth caught looking. Markham crossed him up, threw a fastball. He didn't expect that.
Caught him looking for an off-speed pitch, changeup. Talked about it at the beginning of the game. He's got to be able to use that fastball in certain situations, and this is one of them. Right on the inner half, right at the knees. He catches Worth guessing off speed.
Raul Ibanez now. Another fastball in there for a strike. Right back to the changeup. Ibanez out in front. Another changeup. 3-pitch strikeout of Ibanez. Check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, Buck, as Ross Gload comes to the plate, he was in a battle with the Blue Jays' Dwayne Wise for that last roster spot. The ability for Gload to play first base put him over the hump. Gload promoted to the big leagues. Dwayne Wise went to AAA Lehigh Valley, had an out clause in his contract, and lo and behold, Wise ends up with the Blue Jays, and Gload making his second straight start at first base for Charlie Manuel.
The strike to Ross Gload. Gload has played 8 years in the major leagues. Started his career with the Cubs. Spent time with the Rockies. Long drive right field. Bautista on the run. This ball is off the wall. Gload around first, headed for second. And he'll stop there with a 2-out double. Ball hit right at the base of the fence in right center. Not that far away from where he hit his 3-run double in last night's game.
Short swing. That's a veteran right there. Take what they give you. Rips it into the gap in right center field. No chance for Bautista to run it down, but he plays it off the wall cleanly. Extra base hit. What a day he had yesterday. A season high 3 hits at a career high, tying 4 RBIs. Charlie Manuel pressing the right buttons yesterday, getting him in the lineup.
Now Gload stands at second with 2 outs for the catcher, Brian Schneider. Schneider tapped out to first base his first time up. Curveball back at it, and Bucks jumps on it quickly. We mentioned John Buck and how much better he's gotten as the season's gone on. Catching balls in the dirt, blocking balls. He's just more familiar with his pitching staff.
That's what he told me yesterday. He just feels a lot more comfortable. He knows what pitchers want to do in certain situations and anticipating the ball in the dirt.
Good changeup. He's also really gotten comfortable making the pitchers comfortable. And to me, that's the art of calling a game. Not that you're a genius behind the plate, or not that you got all these great game plans, but making this guy confident. Having him agree, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about. And that's more knowing your pitcher than knowing the opponents.
Went through the clubhouse today, and I saw John Buck and Sean Markham and Jose Molina huddled together, going over strategy of how they want to pitch some of these hitters, who they don't want to beat them in their lineup, what they're going to do. And that was about 2.5 hours before the game.
And then you have a meeting like this, a very quick meeting. Remember what we talked about earlier in the game? You got Schneider here. He's a good fastball hitter. We got a guy in scoring position. Let's go down and away with something. Those types of conversations, just reminders of that meeting you had 3 hours ago.
It's always nice to have somebody else backing you up.
Did he check? Went too far, according to the home plate umpire, Paul Schreiber. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think a catcher really gets to the point of knowing his pitching staff when he can look out and read the face of his pitcher and say, okay, this is what he's thinking right now. and then you throw down that side, and that's when the pitcher has the most confidence.
We've seen that a few times this year, haven't we, with John Buck and Ricky Romero working well together.
Two to Snyder, pulled into the seats.
Jose Molina and Brandon Morrow working well together. Sean Markham and John Buck getting in each other's head, thinking about what they want to do.
And that's why you have to be so much more patient with young catchers and let them develop in the minor leagues. Let them learn how to call a game and let them understand the value of leadership behind the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Laid off the outside changeup. Be a full count. We are in the 3rd inning. Excuse me, in the 4th inning. I got caught thinking the Phillies were home team again.
I know. I have to keep reminding myself that.
Top of the 4th inning, the Phillies are the visiting club in this series. Blue Jays lead it 3-0. Sharply hit, but a big one-hopper for the second baseman, Aaron Hill, and Snyder's retired. Markham gives up a 2-out double, but he's stranded 5. Blue Jays are up 3-0.
Online and vote for your favorite players. Vernon Wells, Jose Bautista, maybe today's starting pitcher, Sean Markham. Cast your vote at BlueJays.com. And fans, you're allowed to vote a maximum of 25 times per email address. So get online, vote early, vote often, and get your Blue Jays into the All-Star game.
Well, the All-Star game, certainly an opportunity for fans to have an impact on that All-Star team. Players will also have an impact. The players will select 8 position players and 9 pitchers to their respective All-Star teams.
Do you remember the last time it was in Anaheim?
Yes. Bo Jackson led off with a home run to center field, hitting in the leadoff spot.
And they said the last time that happened, Willie Mays. Did they?
Bo told me after the game that Willie Mays' era was over. I kind of figured that, Bo. But boy, what a show he put on. Yeah, what a baseball player he was. Jared Hoffpauir lifts the first pitch into right field. Jason Worth is there to make the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 4th. Absolutely gorgeous day in Philadelphia. Downtown Philadelphia, beyond the wall in center. Beautiful setting here. This is the new ballpark. Citizens Bank Park opened up in 2004. A lot of great sight lines here for the fans. They can walk all around the stadium and see the ballpark from just about any vantage point. Fred Lewis takes a fastball on the inside for a strike. Lewis had a single to left his last time up. Ground ball up the middle. There's Utley ranging behind second base in the dirt. Gload can't dig it out. Lewis makes the turn. He's headed for second. There'll be no throw. Ross Gload could not help out Utley. You see Fred Lewis talking to Joe West at second as Lewis ran into the umpire at first base, Rob Drake, making the turn.
On the ground up the middle, Utley, very strong arm, very accurate. Gload cannot go down, stay down. Watch as he came around there. He ran right into the umpire. He's probably saying to Joe West, now if they threw me out, you would have made me safe, right? Joe West is the crew chief of the umpires.
There's Country Joe West at second base. So it's an infield hit for Fred Lewis. Gonzalez fouls back the first pitch. Chase Utley is charged with the error on the throw that allowed Lewis to reach second. Boy, Utley's got great range. His 9th error of the season. Ross Gload making his second start at first. Couldn't dig it out. Ryan Howard had started 70 games at first base before Gload started there last night. Makes the start here again today. Charlie Manuel just choosing to give Howard a little bit of a break using the DH.
Yeah, things worked out so nicely for him. They asked him after the game yesterday, is Ross Gload going to play again in this series? And he said, yeah, he'll play another game probably on Sunday. I guess Charlie changed his mind when he got to the ballpark today. Things worked out so nicely yesterday. Sent the same team out there.
Well, you've got to believe that Brett Cecil starting tomorrow is the reason that Gload's playing against the right-hander Markham today. Probably use a right-handed bat in the DH spot tomorrow and put Howard back at first base. He can use Ben Francisco in outfield DH. Probably put Polanco back at third tomorrow.
Right.
Brett Cecil will be the starting pitcher. Gonzalez lifts one down the left field line. This has got a chance. This is gone. Home run, Alex Gonzalez. His 14th of the season. The Blue Jays lead it by 5.
He had a game earlier this year where he gave up 4 home runs in a game. This is going to be number 3 this afternoon. Looked like it got Alex Gonzalez on the inner half. Didn't get all of it, but got enough of it to get it over to the 334 side for a home run.
Jose Bautista takes a big rip at a fastball and lifts it high, but into shallow left field where Labanez waits for it. 2 outs. Cole Hamels has given up 3 home runs here this afternoon. He has now moved into second place all alone behind Dan Herron. An awful lot of Philly and Diamondbacks on that list playing 2 tough pitchers ballpark. Chase Field and Citizens Bank Park are prone to giving up the long ball. Dan Herron, Ian Kennedy.
Joe Blanton and Jamie Moyer are also in the top 10 in the National League for home runs allowed.
Rodrigo Lopez, also an Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher, is in the top 10. Moyer's given up 14. Joe Blanton's given up 13. No balls and 2 strikes to Vernon Wells. Hamels misses down and away. Well, the Blue Jays needed a breakout. They were shut out last night on just 7 hits. Lifted into Second base, there's Chase Utley to make the catch. Hamels gets Vernon Wells to pop up. But another home run. A 2-run shot by Alex Gonzalez, number 14. The Blue Jays lead it 5-0. Commentator clothing provided in part by Z Zenya. Statistical information provided by Stats Inc. Music provided by Universal Canada. Beautiful Philadelphia, that is City Hall in Philadelphia, looking down Ben Franklin Parkway. A lot of history here in Philadelphia. Home of Independence Hall, the Liberty Bell, and Citizens Bank Park, where the Blue Jays are enjoying a 5-0 lead here this afternoon. Juan Castro, the third baseman, was retired on a fine defensive play by Jared Hoffbauer on a swinging bunt up the third base line. Look at that ball spinning back toward fair territory. Still now it stops. Castro saw that. It was hit right off the end of the bat and had a lot of spin on it.
He was trying to come back. He hits that ball at Rogers Center, and that ball's going to come back fair. But the grass slows it down.
Sean Markham has pitched out of a couple of jams here this afternoon. He's retired. He's stranded 5 base runners. He's had just one 1-2-3 inning that came in the second. Two and two. Markham pitching after a Blue Jays loss this season is 6-2. A great job stopping those losing streaks. Again to Hoffbauer. Takes it on the short hop. Castro's retired.
You know, and he also wants to make up for his last outing. Although he just gave up the 1 run in 5 innings, he really put some pressure on the bullpen. Throwing just 5 innings, 102 pitches. He had a lot of strikeouts and a lot of walks, so his pitch count was up. Cito Gaston elected to take him out after 5 innings. And if you know Sean Markham, he wants to really make up it after that effort.
See that no decision against the Giants, an unusual high number of walks for Markham.
He actually left that game with the lead. He was in line for the win if the bullpen could have held on.
Giants scored 5 runs in the 6th inning. Markham left the game after 5, leading 3-2. Rollins went too far, couldn't check on the curveball. 0-2. Dime he lays off the change. Markham's done a good job of using his fastball a little more frequently here today to put that pitch in the Phillies hitter's mind. Another changeup. Didn't think he'd go right back to it. Sure enough, he did. 5th strikeout for Sean Markham.
Yeah, he certainly did. He doubled up on that changeup. Threw it 1-2, threw it 2-2. Giant hitters last time out made a great adjustment, started laying off this pitch. See the grip and the movement. Rollins is a strikeout victim.
What was the toughest changeup pitcher you faced? Somebody that really had a good changeup that gave you fits.
Do you remember Dwayne Bice?
Yep.
I think it was more of a palm ball. You could look for it, sit on it, and you'd still have to swing. You'd swing so early. It just never got there.
Swing twice at it. Shane Victorino takes the ball on the first pitch. There's a fastball up the knees. One changeup I remember that was very effective was John Hiller, the closer for the Tigers. He had that funny leg kick. He'd throw his leg out there, and then the arm would come through, and the ball would never get there. Sharply on the ground. Overbay with that great glove. Sure throw to Markham covering the bag. And the Phillies are retired. A 3-up, 3-down, 5th inning. Sean Markham.
Blue Jays lead at 5-0. All the runs scored on home runs. It started with John Buck's 2-run shot to left field. Aaron Hill would then follow it up with a little solo mio. And finally, Alex Gonzalez with a 2-run shot of his own. The Blue Jays utilizing the long ball as they have all season long. And maybe that matchup bodes well for tomorrow's pitching matchup when Jamie Moyer will go against Brett Cecil. Moyer has given up the most career home runs of any active player, 505 all told, and the Blue Jays looking forward to trying utilizing that home run once again in tomorrow's match.
Blue Jays have now hit 114 home runs. That leads the major leagues, and you can see the active leaders in home runs allowed. Jamie Moyer is tied with the late Robin Roberts, 505 allowed, and there's a long gap between he and Tim Wakefield.
Those guys have all pitched a long time in the big leagues. Next home run that Jamie Moyer gives up will be his standalone for the most. Nelson Figueroa takes over for Cole Hamels here in the 5th inning. Figueroa, the veteran, has been around a long time. He was claimed from the Mets organization. He has pitched a long time in the big leagues.
Adam Lynn takes a first pitch strike from Figueroa. Little cutter hit on the ground. Chase Utley with a quick throw to first base. One out here in the 5th. Well, Cole Hamels had a rough start this afternoon, and he was charged with 7 hits and 5 runs, including 3 home runs. So Charlie Manuel, after watching Roy Halladay shut down the Blue Jays, it's a different story tonight. This is the pitching line brought to you by MLB 10, the show only on PlayStation. Cole Hamels going just 4 innings, 5 earned runs. 3 of those hits came as home runs. Aaron Hill hit one of those home runs, his 11th of the season, a slow shot with 2 outs in the 3rd.
Phillies are banged up in their bullpen. That's why we see Nelson Figueroa up here. They lost Chad Durbin. You mentioned in last night's game. Durbin, the veteran, has been pitching very well. He tweaked his hamstring, recovering, going after a bunt. Ryan Matson is on the disabled list. He has a broken toe. So Nelson Figueroa, the veteran, who has pitched a long time in the big leagues, gets a chance to help the Phils.
Now, the Phillies just lost Chad Durbin to a hamstring injury. He was placed on a DL on Thursday. A slow breaking ball. Figueroa knew what he wanted, and that was the slow breaking pitch to retire Aaron Hill.
Second stint with the Phillies. He remained in the organization. When they assigned him about 3 weeks ago, they needed him back here. They know what they get from him. He went down to the minor leagues and pitched well.
Had a chance to get some innings under his belt. Went down there and made 3 starts. Jumps ahead of Lyle Overbay with a curveball. Overbay singled and scored back in the 2nd. Breaking ball missed down and in. Overbay now up to 236. A slow but steady climb in the batting average.
Now we're starting to see some production also. Cito Gaston moved him down in the lineup to take a little pressure off of him and get some production down there, and it's worked. Hoping the same thing from the movement of Adam Lind and Aaron Hill down into the lower parts of the batting order. Worked today so far for Aaron Hill.
3-1 pitch to Overbay. Swing and hit on the ground. But Utley's there at second base. Figueroa has a quick inning as he works in the 5th. They have played 5 innings here. Blue Jays are out in front by 5.
With the CFL season about to get underway, make sure you tune into Rogers Sportsnet East in Ontario tomorrow at 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific for our CFL preview show hosted by Jim Lang.
Now the CFL getting set to open up another season. Hard to imagine this summer is flying by as quickly. We're almost at the 1st of July. Blue Jays just 2 more games in interleague play. Sean Markham has been dealing all afternoon here. He held the Phillies to just 4 hits through 5 innings. Chase Utley will start the 6th. He has 2 of those 4 hits. Curveball misses. A ball on the strike. Utley, another first-round pick by Philadelphia. Swings at that off-speed pitch. A ball and 2 strikes. This shows you how effective that changeup is. By now, the Phillies are well aware that Markham will lean a lot on that changeup, and they still are out in front of it.
Yeah, it's the 3rd time through the lineup for Sean Markham and the Phillies.
And on the ground, Overbay with that good glove and the underhand toss. Utley's retired to start the 6th.
They probably haven't seen 2 types of changeups from one guy. Something that Markham can do. That's really impressive.
What is the most difficult aspect of his changeup for you from a hitter's perspective?
The arm speed. He throws it with great arm speed. Meaning, if you're up there looking for the ball and you're taught as a kid and all the way through, look right above that right shoulder where he's letting go of the ball, and you see that arm come through as fast as it does, you think fastball. But Markham throws that changeup with the same arm speed. It looks like it's a fastball, and it becomes a dead fish out of his arm, and all of a sudden it takes forever for the ball to get there. It really throws up the timing of the batter.
1-1 to Ryan Howard. We talk about other changeup pitchers, Mark Eichhorn, and then, of course, Doug Jones, who pitched so long as a closer. Great changeups.
Those 2 that you just mentioned threw sidearm. Doug Jones 3/4, but he'll throw you 6 straight changeups. He'll force it in there, throw it until you would prove that you could hit it. What makes Sean Markham so tough is he has everything else in his repertoire.
There's a changeup at 79, and Ryan Howard just couldn't resist the temptation. Looks so hittable, and your timing is on that arm speed.
Changeups would move, but that's not the hard part about trying to hit one. But Markham could make his changeup sink. He can also cut it in on left-handers. That's what makes his so unique.
Full count to Ryan Howard here with 1 out in the 6th. Long drive, center field. Brendan Wells back at the track, at the wall. Gone, Ryan Howard. 15th home run of the season came on a 3-2 pitch from Sean Markham, and the Phillies are on the board.
We talked in the opening about Ryan Howard's batting average over his last 7 games. It's about 400. Add into that, in the month of June, the production that they're getting. This is his 7th home run in the month of June. And a typical Ryan Howard home run. Long, high, majestic home runs that just keep carrying.
A 300 hitter in the month with some power. Jason Worth waves at a first pitch changeup. Howard has 55 runs driven in now.
He is just getting warmed up. He has always been a second half player, a lot like the Phillies. They've been a second half ball club.
Fastball 0-2. Jason Worth has been cooled off here this afternoon. He struck out twice. Off the plate with the fastball.
He is working on a 7-game hit streak against the Blue Jays. Jason Worth is, where he has hit over 450. But what's impressive about the 11 hits that he has had in the 7 games against the Blue Jays, 10 of them have been extra base hits. But today, he can't figure out Sean Markham.
It's a hat trick for Jason Worth. He struck out 3 times, twice swinging and once looking. 6 strikeout for Markham. Two outs now. There you see Scott Downs, the left-hander, starting to loosen up. Markham can throw first pitch change-ups for strikes, and he can throw swing and a miss change-ups with 2 strikes. High fly ball to right field, but Bautista, he's got room in front of the scoreboard, makes the catch. The Phillies break through on the solo home run by Ryan Howard, but the Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead. Cheesesteaks, they are really good and really good for you. Lots of beef and cheese and a nice bun. They're great. You got to have one, maybe 2.
We had 2 today.
We love the cheesesteaks. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Well, we got a good ball game going here this afternoon at Citizens Bank Park. The Blue Jays are the home team, and the home team leads it 5-1, batting in the bottom of the 6th. Nelson Figueroa in his second inning of work. John Buck with his 13th home run of the season, a 2-run shot that came in the second and started the scoring. John Buck's career high in home runs is 18. That came in 2007 in Kansas City. Let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, Buck, Sean Markham will be taken out of the game. He's received the handshakes and a couple of hugs from Ricky Romero, and now in a long conversation with Bruce Walton. That communication continues not only between pitcher and pitching coach, but amongst starters as well.
Just trying to debrief here while things are most fresh in Markham's mind. Bruce Walton probably trying to just figure out what was going on all day long. He pitched very well again. Has allowed only 5 hits through 6 innings. The solo home run to Ryan Howard, but it came when he had a 5-run cushion. But it's a hot, muggy day here in Philadelphia. He's had to work all day long. He's only had a couple of easy innings, the 2nd and the 5th. Other than that, it's been a battle for him.
Yeah, and the Phillies will do that to you. The type of offense that they have, that every pitch is a pressure-packed type of pitch. But when you look through the scorecard, the most batters he faced in an inning was just 5. I wouldn't classify that as a long inning. So he made pitches when he had to if he's out of the ball game and battled them. Had a great changeup, but he used his fastball too.
A little different approach for him today, but certainly effective. He cooled off a very hot hitting Philly ball club. Philadelphia last night scored 9 runs on 11 hits.
They were averaging 7 runs a game in their last 9, 7 of them which they have won.
Ooh, John Buck got a hanging breaking ball right there and fouled it back.
Recognized it quick too, didn't he? His eyes seemed to light up. Look at the numbers 1 year ago today for John Buck.
John Buck dealt with back issues last year in Kansas City. Played in just 59 games, and there he goes down swinging against Nelson Figueroa.
Reliability, resale value, and race-proven innovation. Get it all with 0.9% financing on our most popular models right now during the Honda Checkered Flag event.
Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler here at Citizens Bank Park. Nelson Figueroa has retired all 4 batters he's faced since coming into this game.
Well, he's a control pitcher. He's got a good breaking ball, but he also has a good split, and I think that's because he's got long fingers, big hands and long fingers. When he tucks that ball in there, it really disappears.
Jared Hoffbauer fouls it back.
Big hands. Pedro Martinez is like that, with long fingers that help him throw a good split finger. Figueroa the same way with those big hands.
Pulled foul deep into the seats down the left field line. Jared Hoffbauer had a base hit in his first at bat. This time down the right field side into the seats. Hoffbauer did a good job in AAA that led to his promotion. Started out playing second base, then moved to play third base. Finished up in AAA playing 20 games at third base. 0-2. Held up. A ball and 2 strikes, 1 out here in the 6th. Blue Jays scored 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and 2 in the 4th. All the runs coming in on home runs. What's new?
Yeah. They have done that all season long, haven't they? Best percentage in the American League. Runs scored via the home run.
On the ground, but foul at third. Castro made the grab, but it was in foul ground. The Jays have now hit 114 home runs. It's their 17th or 75th game. They've had their troubles with left-handers this season. You can see just 18 home runs hit this season, but 3 of those came today against Cole Hamels. They're wearing out right-handers.
Yeah, came into this game batting average of .201 versus lefties, worst in the major leagues. Good at bat by Hoffpauir. John Buck got him off to a good start with that home run against Hamels.
Hoffpauir's doing a good job of battling Figueroa here. If the Blue Jays hold on to this lead, their record against left-handed starters will improve to 7-11. But lefties have given them problems all year long.
We've seen some good ones too, haven't we? John Lester comes to mind, and Barry Zito.
David Price, Barry Zito.
Price has 3 of those losses pinned on the Blue Jays.
Yep. Andy Pettitte in a tough list of left-handed starters that the Blue Jays have faced. Strike 3 called. Hoffpauir didn't think so, but he'll walk back to the dugout, a strikeout victim. Fastball on the outside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts for Figueroa.
Painted him. Jared Hoffpauir has done a good job since he has been called up and putting the ball in play. This is just the second time in 16 at-bats that he has gone down swinging. Struck out. Took a good pitch from Figueroa to get him.
Fred Lewis has a couple of hits this afternoon. He's also walked. Laying off that inside pitch, counting his favorite 3 balls and no strikes.
Come on, baby, let's go.
Three balls and a strike, 2 outs here in the 6th. Fastball at the knees. This is Lewis's 59th game of the season. Lays off that inside breaking ball, takes the walk. He's been on base 4 times this afternoon.
Really made Figueroa work there. Took a couple of strikes and was just daring him to throw him a fastball.
It's only a 4-run game. This Philadelphia team is dangerous, much like the Blue Jays. So some insurance wouldn't be frowned upon.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think it would take very long for Fred Lewis to attempt to steal here. Get yourself into scoring position for Gonzalez. Stay aggressive.
Lowe took the wide throw. Snyder's only caught 17% of the base runners. Hopped up behind the infield into shallow center. Victorino comes on, calls for it, makes the catch, and Gonzalez is retired. Nelson Figueroa with 2 good innings of relief. Blue Jays protecting a 4-run lead. The Blue Jays will return to Rogers Center on July 6th for a 3-game series against the Minnesota Twins. Boston Red Sox will follow them to town. For tickets, call 416-341-1234, or you can log on to BlueJays.com, or you can stop by most Rogers Plus locations for tickets. The Red Sox got some bad news today. Their all-star second baseman and former MVP, Dustin Pedroia, went on the disabled list with a broken foot. He fouled a ball off his foot in last night's game in Colorado. Tried to stay in the game and then found out later that he had suffered a broken foot. Now, Sean Markham's day has come to an end here. He has thrown 100 pitches. And Markham leaves with a chance to pick up his 7th win of the season.
Yeah, what a job for Sean Markham this afternoon. The last 9 games, the Phillies have averaged 7 runs and hitting about .350 as a team, but he pitched a great game. 6 innings, 1 walk to 6 strikeouts, and the changeup and his fastball were working beautifully together this afternoon.
Left-hander Scott Downs will face Russ Glode, the first batter. Downs has had a good season. 35th appearance of the year for Scott Downs. Hit on the ground, but Aaron Hill comes over and makes an easy toss to Overbay. 1 out here in the 7th. Dane Sardina will come off the bench and pinch hit for Brian Snyder. Sardina, the backup catcher, with Ruiz on the DL.
Yeah, one of the reasons why Cito Gaston brings in the left-hander with the lefty hitters coming up. He likes the matchup, first of all, left on left, but he also pushes the envelope for Charlie Manuel, makes him make decisions. Do I go to the bench now and get my right-handers in? And if he does, which he's doing here with Sardina, that will work out nicely. And Kevin Gregg comes into the game late in the 9th inning.
Sardina just recalled from AAA Lehigh Valley on the 19th of June. It had been over a year since he played in the big leagues. He appeared in 12 games last season for the Tigers. Brings and fouls it out of play.
What a thrill that is right there. That is Dane Sardina's first major league home run. Came against the Cleveland Indians. And I believe he got the ball.
A ball and a strike to the pinch hitter. Puts this ball back into the seats along the right side. I saw Sardina play as a freshman at Pepperdine University in California, and I thought he was going to be an all-star. He could catch it, he could throw, hit very well. He was a #1 pick by the Royals coming out of high school from Hawaii. He stayed in Pepperdine and became a draft pick of the Reds.
High draft pick, too.
Chases that curveball, and he goes down 2 outs here in the 7th.
And a lot of times the difference between a good major league hitter and a minor league hitter, handling that off-speed pitch.
Oh, Uncle Charlie. Well, I'm doing well down here in the minor leagues, but you know what? I just found out they throw curveballs in the big leagues.
Good ones, too.
2 outs here in the 7th. Juan Castro, the third baseman. Blue Jays trying to even this series at a game apiece. They lost the opener 9-0. The lead here in the 7th, 5-1. Fly ball toward right. Bautista will go back on the warning track and make the catch. A good inning for Scott Downs. A 1-2-3-7. Middle of the 7th. 5-1 Blue Jays. Blue Jays out in front 5-1 here in Philadelphia. Vernon Wells will be the second batter this inning, and this was in between innings. Wells recognized the Blue Jay fan in the upper deck and said, "Hey, you want a ball?" Nice catch by a Blue Jay fan. Lots of Blue Jay fans in attendance over the weekend as they've made the trip down from Toronto and other places around Canada to visit their favorite team here in Philadelphia. New catcher will be Dane Sardina. He'll take over behind the plate. He pinched hit for Brian Schneider. New pitcher will be Danny Baez. Signed in the offseason as a free agent.
Spent a lot of years with the Cleveland Indians. Spent some time with the Baltimore Orioles. Baez was a big free agent signee when he came to the United States. Got a good arm with slider. He'll sink the ball. And when his splitter is on, he can be really tough coming out of the pen. Throws hard.
Bautista, Wells, and Lind will be the scheduled hitters here in the seventh. 2 balls and no strikes. Bautista always ready for that fastball. Pulled that one over the dugout. Popped up behind home plate. Sardina with the mask off. He makes the catch. One out here, bottom of the seventh. Vernon Wells is 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Set to face Danny Baez. There's pitch splitter up. Baez has an interesting past. He defected from Cuba. The Cuban national team was playing in Winnipeg in a Pan Am Games in '99, and he defected. Went to Costa Rica. There's a base hit for Vernon Wells on a high fastball. The Blue Jay fans had got the Vernon Wells souvenir in between innings. He rewards them with his first hit of the afternoon. So once Baez defected, he became eligible for free agency, and he was signed by the Indians. A very lucrative contract.
Yep.
But he had the worries of his parents, who had to stay in Cuba for 5 years after his son defected. He eventually was able to get them out, and he's joined them in Miami. Adam Lind's out in front of that first pitch.
I remember when he signed with Cleveland, he was going to be a starter, a big, strong right-hander. They were going to team with CC Sabathia. He made it to the big league rather quickly. But when starting didn't work out, Indians figured right away that he's more suited out of the bullpen. Thought that he could close at some point.
Spent 3 years closing. Had 25 saves for the Indians in '03. Then went to Tampa Bay, saved 30 games in '04, and finished up with a 41 save season in '05. Ball and a strike, 1 out. Fastball cut out and missed. Baez's parents both were professors at university, and once he defected, they lost their job. The government felt that they couldn't allow a defector's parents to teach in their national university, so they no longer could teach. There's that split finger pitch, and Adam Lind goes down. Baez records the strikeout. 2 outs here in the seventh.
You mentioned all the saves when he was with Tampa. You can see why. His stuff really plays. Good hard fastball, slider, the split, sinker. Been around for a while now.
He was an all-star in 2005 with that big save season with the Rays. Check swing foul at the plate. Aaron Hill 1 for 3 with a home run. His home run came in the 3rd inning. All the Blue Jay runs have been scored via the home run. John Buck a 2-run shot, Aaron Hill a solo home run, and Alex Gonzalez a 2-run home run. There goes Vernon Wells. Hill takes, no chance for Sardina. Remember, it's just a 4-run game, so Wells felt that Baez wasn't paying attention, and he steals it easily.
And he wasn't. What a jump. He was timing him, counting 1,001, 1,002, and now I'm going to take off. That's why pitchers have to give different types of looks. Hold the ball one time, quick pitch him, slide step, throw over, give him a couple looks. Vernon Wells timed it perfectly, picked up his 4th stolen base.
Breaking ball in there. A ball and 2 strikes. That wasn't a jump. That was a running start.
All he needed to do was get down in the blocks, and it was like a sprint. Huh?
He was halfway there. For Wells, his 4th steal. He's in scoring position for Aaron Hill. Off the plate, 2-2. Boy, a little insurance now would be sweet. Widen the gap a bit. This Philly team is dangerous. We saw what they could do last night in that 6-run 5th inning. Scored 6 runs on 5 hits and didn't hit a home run. Hit him. That fastball ran up and in. Baez loses the right-handed hitter, and now will deal with the lefty Lyle Overbay.
And nobody warming up in the bullpen for the Philadelphia Phillies. Ball takes off on Baez and clips Aaron Hill. Third batter this year that Baez has hit.
Overbay with an infield hit. 1 for 2 officially. He also walked. Blue Jays are going to have to go through the heart of the order in this Philly lineup before this game is over. A ball and a strike. Overbay lays off the low pitch. 2 balls and a strike. 2 outs here in the 7th. Blue Jays trying to pad their lead against Danny Baez. Wells at second. Hill at first. Overbay flips it foul out of play down the left field line. Two balls and 2 strikes. Long look in for a sign. Baez now set. Foul back. Another off-speed pitch. Baez spent time in the American League. Overbay has faced him before, but hasn't had much success. Just 1 for 5.
Yeah, just those 5 at-bats against him, but he's putting up a good at-bat here against Baez. Spoiling some pretty decent pitches.
Driven to the power alley left center. Victorino's got great speed, and he's got plenty of room, and he makes the catch. Overbay hits it hard, but Victorino runs it down. Blue Jays strand a couple. It's 5-1 Toronto. Citizens Bank Park, beautiful afternoon here in Philadelphia. Blue Jays enjoying an awful lot of success here. They pounded out 3 home runs, and they enjoy a 4-run lead here as we are set to work in the 8th inning. Top of the order for Philadelphia will be Jimmy Rollins starting things off against Scott Downs, working his 2nd inning.
Yeah, what an inning, his first time through. Bottom of the lineup, 1, 2, 3. Now he's got to go and turn around Rollins and Victorino.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do is encourage the top of the order. You've got Victorino and Rollins. They're not the power threats that you'll face later on down in the order. Make them earn their way on.
Scott Downs has done a good job this year, but he has really worked just 1 inning here, 1 inning there. He really hasn't worked multiple innings. His career high in innings pitched is just 3 2/3. That was 5 years ago. So he's become more of a lefty specialist. The right move, though, bringing the lefty in here, turning these 2 hitters around, and then you've got Utley and Howard.
Jimmy Rollins had 1 hopper to Gonzalez. That's automatic. 6-3 on the put-up. 1 out here in the 8th.
So Cito Gaston asking a little bit more length from his left-hander.
Well, when you look at his season stats, this is his 35th game. And now with an inning and a third of work, Downs has worked in 31 innings. So he is averaging less than an inning per game. So he needs a little length here.
Turning these 2 hitters around, I think, are the right move. Anytime you've got left-handed speed, gives them more options. They can bunt, they can slash at the ball. They're a little bit closer to first base. Rollins is a stronger hitter from the left side. Victorino, we talked about it last night, more power from this side.
A ball and no strikes to Victorino. 2-0. Bullpen behind Scott Downs begins to work for right-hander Sean Kemp. Loosens up. Gaston has flip-flopped Kemp and Frazier recently, and how he uses them. Back into the seats and out of play. Well, it's all about managing your outs now. Manager sitting on the dugout bench talking with his pitching coach saying, okay, we got Downs here. Victorino gets on. We got 2 more left-handers and then Worth. So Camp is the guy I want to have face Worth. Charlie Manuel's doing the same thing in his end of the dugout, thinking, okay, I'm going to bring the right-hander in. Do I have any options left-handed? 3 balls and a strike. But literally, managers thinking 2 and 3 situations ahead.
Yeah, you have to. That's how you have to go about doing that. Scott Downs' numbers, lefties and righties. They're going to use the end of the game the way they're going to use Camp and Downs. One could pitch the 7th, one could pitch the 8th, depending on who's coming up. We had left-handers at the bottom of the lineup last inning, so we went with the lefty.
With Carino out in front of a fastball that it's well foul.
And some left-handers coming up in this inning. So it's not automatic like you're my 7th inning guy, you're my 8th inning guy, you're my 9th inning guy.
And Cito started that right out of the chute in spring training. He said he had guys that he was confident he could finish games with. Downs was one of them. 2 Harper to third. Off power. Overbay. Victorino's retired. 2 outs here in the 8th. So now as Scott Downs is ticking off outs, Cito Gaston is getting more comfortable that he's not that far away from Kevin Gregg. Even in a non-save situation, given the way this series has gone so far, he'd probably go right to Gregg.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You know, you are looking for W's right now.
Two outs now for Chase Utley. And nobody on. Exactly how you want to face Utley late in the game.
Thinking the same thing when Howard came up last time. I'd rather face Ryan Howard with nobody on.
Kevin Gregg sitting in the back of the dugout. Cito Gaston also has confidence that he can use Camp. It just depends on where he is in the order and who are the scheduled batters. 2 balls, no strikes. Downs pours one in there. Scott Downs has retired all 5 batters he's faced. In relief of Sean Markham. Throw breaking ball for a strike. Evens a count of 2-2. Looping fly ball. Gonzalez in shallow left makes a nice play, running away from the diamond. Scott Downs does a great job in his 2 innings of work, retires all 6 he's faced. Bank Park in Philadelphia. The Blue Jays are the home team, and they're enjoying a 5-1 lead here. Mike Zagorski, the left-hander, will make his second appearance of the season. He'll pitch the bottom of the 8th inning against the bottom of the Blue Jays order.
Just recalled 4 days ago from AAA Lehigh Valley. Zagorski, a walk, a strikeout in his inning in the third. Lively fastball. He's got a slider, a little bit of a changeup. He really goes after hitters. Likes to pitch inside. He's aggressive. And here in Philadelphia, they remind him of another player they used to have here. They called him John Kruk Jr. He looks a lot like Krucky.
He's on trying to have another clean inning of work. Danny Baez stranded a couple of runners. He gave up a single to Vernon Wells and hit Aaron Hill. So now it'll be the left-hander Zagorski. John Buck's had a productive day at the plate and behind the plate. Hit a 2-run home run at the plate. Fouls off the first pitch. Behind the plate, he's done a great job with Sean Markham and Scott Downs, holding the Phillies to just 5 hits and a single run.
That's impressive stuff. Changed up a little bit more. Sean Markham threw some beautiful pitches to some really hot hitters.
Another foul back. I think Number's big improvement for John Buck. He's healthy. He last season had back problems in Kansas City. His 59 games played, the lowest in his career. First time he spent any time on the disabled list came a year ago.
You ever had a back problem?
No. Very fortunate.
Yeah, I had it for like a week once, you know, where you just, the only thing you want to do is just lay in the fetal position on the ground. Could you imagine, because baseball's played so much with the core, you can see why his power was zapped from him.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Everything you do in baseball is rotational.
Right here.
All around your core. Your abdomen, obviously very important in what you do. Throwing, catching, running, everything you do. Inside. Again, we saw a picture of Scott Downs and Bruce Walton talking after the good performance by Downs. 2 innings, 2 perfect innings. 6 retired by Scott Downs. Great job. Looks like Sean Kemp continues to throw down in the Blue Jays bullpen, so he will probably come in to work the 9th inning. Non-safe situations. He has been really throwing the ball well of late. Got the bite back on his slider. John Buck leading off the 8th inning. Full count. Takes the leadoff walk.
Reliability, resale value, and race-proven innovation. Get it all plus 0.9% financing and a $500 gas card on new Civics during the Honda Checkered Flag event.
We are in the 8th inning. Blue Jays hitting in the bottom of the 8th. Jared Hoffbauer, the third baseman, with John Buck at first. First pitch strike. Hoffbauer 1 for 3, had a single in his first at bat. That game against Cole Hamels. Hamels lasted just 4 innings here this afternoon. Gave up 5 runs on 7 hits and 3 home runs. Breaking ball inside, evens the count at 1-1.
Hamels hasn't had too much fun pitching against the Blue Jays in his career. Just 4 2/3 last year before they knocked him out back at Rogers Center. 4 innings today.
Inside, 2 balls and a strike. It's really interesting. We have talked about how poorly the Blue Jays do against left-handed pitchers, but for some reason they hit Cole Hamels very well.
Yeah, they really do. Hamels has the most strikeouts in the National League since 2006. Just 3 this afternoon.
And 2 of those came in back-to-back situation in the second. He struck out Gonzalez and Bautista in the second. Mike Zagurski, the 4th Phillies pitcher to work here this afternoon. Lifted into center field. Victorino has plenty of room, and he makes the catch. 1 out here in the 8th.
Zagurski might be one of those other pitchers that Charlie Manuel is going to have to depend on here with the problems that they've had in their bullpen, the injuries we talked about earlier. He had Tommy John surgery in 2008. Missed that season. He has worked his way back. When they called him up from the minor leagues, they got a left-hander who was leading the International League in strikeouts per 9 innings. Good fastball, a good slider, very aggressive.
Well, they certainly need some help, and their depth has been tested all year long. First they lost Brad Lidge, then he came back healthy. Then they lost Ryan Madsen, who kicked the chair and broke his toe. And most recently they lost Chad Durbin. Another breaking ball in there as Zagurski jumps ahead of Fred Lewis. Fred Lewis had a great day at the plate. 2 walks, 2 hits. He scored a run. Been on base all 4 times. Oh, chopper to second. Utley gets the runner at first, and now they have John Buck in a rundown. Jimmy Rollins tags John Buck. Boy, Chase Utley can execute that play as well as anybody. Cuts off the base runner and gets the out at first. Let's check in with Sam Cosentino. Sam, what we got coming up on Connected?
Well, Ivanka Osmak and Jason Portwando will talk about the World Cup. Day 3 at Wimbledon. Our panel in LA recaps the National Hockey League draft and plenty of Major League Baseball action.
They go to the 9th, and it'll be a new pitcher for the Blue Jays. Sean Kemp will come out of the bullpen to work the 9th inning, protecting a 4-run lead here. Scott Downs had a great 2 innings of work, retired all 6 batters he faced and struck out a batter, but Kemp, appearing in his 34th game, will try to wrap things up here this afternoon.
And he's been as effective as Scott Downs has been lately. Had a couple of days off a couple of weeks ago, and now he is back at it. Good bite to that slider, good changeup, good fastball. Right-handers have not had a lot of success against Sean Camp. Trying to finish it off against Ryan Howard.
Howard accounted for the only run of the day for Philadelphia. A solo home run with 1 out into 6, his 15th of the season. Blue Jays pitchers done a great job of shutting down a red-hot Philly ball club. That strike evens accounted 1-1. Philly scored 9 runs on 11 hits in last night's game. There's that sharp, late-breaking slider. Philly fans trying to spark their ball club.
The rally caps are out.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Ryan Howard leading off the ninth. Slider tied him up. Been a good bounce back game for the Blue Jays as they were shut out last night. Roy Halladay did the number 7 shutout innings. It'll be a full count. Halladay improving to 9-6. Howard lifts it to left field. Fred Lewis at the walls, got room, makes the catch. Now it's time for the play of the game, brought to you by Transitions Optical, the lenses that adapt to changing light conditions so you can see your whole day in comfort.
After an infield single by Lyle Overbay, this changeup is tagged by John Buck for a home run. Gets the Blue Jays off and running in the second inning. They would add a couple of more home runs, but it's John Buck's home run that really set the tone here this afternoon.
Well, it sure did. He got out in front of that pitch and drove it into the seats. Cole Hamels gave up 3 home runs in the game, but John Buck got it started. Jason Worth hits it on the ground to shortstop. Gonzalez, a tricky hop in time to get Worth 2 outs here in the ninth. We'll be back here at Citizens Bank Park tomorrow afternoon for the 3rd and final game of this series. The coverage begins at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. Jamie Moyer for the Phillies will go up against Brett Cecil for the Blue Jays. Raul Ibanez, the last hope for the Phillies. Down to their last strike.
This is where Sean Camp has been so tough because he has so many different weapons to get you out. He can throw that frisbee slider. He can backdoor it on you if you're a left-hander. He has dumped that changeup on the lefties also. He can bring that fastball back, try to freeze you on the inner half. A lot of weapons.
Popped up. Brennan Wells will get there. Ibanez is retired. Sean Camp had a 1-2-3 ninth inning. He wraps it up. Big home run by John Buck. 3 home runs for the Blue Jays. Hill and Gonzalez both go deep. Big win. Rubber game tomorrow. Blue Jays win the second game 5-1. Stay tuned for Connected.